The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the prickle grass grows and the wind smells snow and sour when it blows and no one's ever singing except the old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the prickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. Well, what is the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere to the far end of town where the prickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on the top of his store, and he stays in his lurkin cold under the floor where he makes his own clothes out of muffled roof. And on special midnights in August, he peeks out the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and if you have to toss 15 cents in a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes the most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. And then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in the groovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-a-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Sloop does the snub of the whisper-a-phone to your ear. The old Onceler lets whispers not very clear, since they have to come through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now I tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time way back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the songs of the swanny swangs rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and at first I saw trees, the trufula trees, the bright colored tufts of the trufula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown marbaloots frisking about in their marbaloots suits and playing the shade in the trufula fruits. From Rivulous Pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trufula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet, smelly freshness of butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart, and I knew just what I'd do. I'd unload my cart, and in no time at all, I built a small shop, then I chopped down a trufula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a knee. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, it's hard, I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a dusty sneeze, I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees, and I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset, and he shouted and puffed, what's that thing that you've made out of my trufula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. A thing is a thing that everyone, all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. It has other uses. And far beyond that, you can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool need. But that very minute, I proved he was wrong, for just in that minute, a chap came along and he thought that the need that I knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax, you poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I brushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone, and I put in a quick call, and I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Niche. Turn it left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were knitting knees just as busy bees. to the sound of the chopping of the truculent trees. And oh baby, oh how business did grow. Now not chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented a super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truculent trees at one smacker. We were making 3 needs 4 times as before, and the Lorax, well, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked at my new office door. He snapped. I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I am in charge of the brown barbaloots, who playing in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truculent fruits. But now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truculent fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are all getting their ponies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Winsler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north, and I went right on biggering, selling more needs. I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled and he snarled and he sniffed. Wansler, he cried with a croakulous croak. Wansler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor slummy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who's got smog in his throat, and so the Lorax, please pardon my cough, they cannot live here. So I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year or so to escape the smoggy smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about your gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stopping, making gluppity-glup and sloppity-slop. And what do with this leftover goo? I'll show you. You make dirty old Wunsler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hum. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gone. So I'm sending them off, and their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in some sort of water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad, all you do is yap, 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 dad, 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 dad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truculent trees into the needs which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud crack from outside in the fields. Came a sickening smack from an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truculent tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time at all, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved goodbye. They jumped into my cars and they drove away under the smoke-smothered stars. Now all that was left beneath that bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. And the Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, gave me a very, very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I have sat here and I wondered and worried away. Though the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've wondered about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Wunsler, now that you're here, the word of the Lord seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, there's nothing that's going to get better. It's not. So, catch, said the Wunsler. He let something fall. It's a truculus seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last truculus seeds. And the truculent trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new trucula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends just